Okay, well, hello and welcome back to part 2 of our episode with Dusty, who is our winner of the $20,000 in 20 days challenge here inside Digital Profit Queens.
Yes.
And really having I know some people will probably think why does she keep talking wealth mindset? Well, if you don't believe that you are capable of creating this wealth, then you're not going to behave in a way as such.
Right, and it's not necessarily, because I thought the same. I'm like, what is a wealth mindset?
Oh, good. Elaborate on this.
Okay. I didn't understand that in the beginning. I'm like, wealth mindset? Well, yeah, I want to be rich. Like, of course. Isn't that what everybody just thinks off the top of their head? Like, of course I want more money. Of course I want my bank account to go up. So I'm like, wealth mindset. But it's much deeper than that. You have to believe that you're capable of earning enough money to, quote unquote, have wealth. You also get wealth in other ways. It's not just monetary. You can get wealth out of your biblical abundance. You can get wealth out of the community and the camaraderie that we have from the group. The wealth portion is not necessarily about a dollar sign.
Exactly.
And that's what I thought I was signing up for. You were going to teach me how to make 20 in 20 days.
With a plug and play, do this.
You did, but not in the way I thought.
Right. I wanted to make sure it was in a way that aligned with you, your belief system, your mindset, your business, your offers, so that then when that $20,000 in 20 days challenge is done, it's not like, well, I can't do this because Miranda's got to show me what to do. Now you can probably keep going and doing that without needing a challenge every 20 days, right?
Correct. Now, honestly, I probably would go into a challenge every 20 days because I think it keeps you accountable. Like, come on, guys.
And we have the next one kicking off on August 12th.
Okay, perfect.
So we're coming.
I'm there.
And we've got a live class coming August 10th in this.
I'm here to say I'm going to win it again.
I love it. Claim it, own it. Absolutely. And I think what's really great about our group is nobody in our group, and even if they do think this, they're probably quiet and maybe getting cultivated by the energy of the group, that everyone would probably be like, you go, girl, you are going to win it. And you know what? I think I'm going to win it. And I think I'm going to win it. And we're all going to show up. And there's really this iron sharpens iron versus like a true on competitiveness. And I'd love for you to talk about the energy of the community from your perspective versus from mine.
To be completely honest, even though you say a win, quote unquote, I keep doing air quotes and we're not on live. Even though you're saying that, you're the winner, at the end of the day, everybody won. Whether or not you would have said, Dusty, you won the challenge, I still would have won. So it's because of the camaraderie in the group and how we push each other. And there are a lot of people in there that are quiet. I see how many members there are. But the ones that are active, everybody's winning. Everybody has wins in their business. Everybody has wins on their social media going on. Like, everybody is winning if you're active and you participate. But also being active and participating is not going to make you have success. You have to be active, participate, and bring all of the system beliefs into you as a person.
Absolutely. I would totally agree with that. And I would think that there's probably maybe even a level of, instead of like only from mentor to student or teacher to student, there's a little bit of this like, okay, well, I got like other students around me.
Yes, there is. And we can feed off of each other. And I think a lot of times we do. We have conversations in there that you're not a part of, and that's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
And we learn from each other. So that was the part that I thought was different from other communities that I've been a part of, is that everybody is actually in there to help each other. It's not a competition.
Absolutely. And I think you've pretty much already answered this, but I'm still just going to go up all our little questions here is, in which ways do you feel that you are holding yourself back within your business? That either my guidance, the Digital Profit Queens community, or even a combo of both really helped you to level up?
I was really holding back in my own business because I felt like I wasn't worthy of positioning myself as an expert in the subject because I had not been open for long enough. And I think the confidence that the group gave me actually opened my eyes to realize that I have put in the work behind the scenes. I've joined other communities, other masterminds to learn about weddings, learn about flowers. I've done so many hours and hours and hours of research. like, one thing about me is I am going to research it. And I've done that so much. But of course, that's not something that you talk about online. And quite frankly, it's not anybody's business. So I needed the confidence to say, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. And I am an expert. And so my belief system before was I'm not worthy, blah, 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 blah. But once my shift in my mindset opened up, I was like, well, you know what? Actually, I am worthy. I've done all of this stuff. Why am I not positioning myself like that? Why am I holding myself back? Because I'm thinking, what? I'm going to wait 5 years to start saying, I know what I'm doing because Susie Q down the street has been in business for 5 years?
Right.
So I was literally just comparing myself to everybody else that I was looking at online. Not only was I trying to be like them, and I'm not like them at all, I was comparing myself. So I was just really going down a funnel of not a good place.
And see, I view like, okay, you've only been in it a year, but like the energy you have to bring in a year. And not saying that anything against florists who've been in it for 5 or 10 years. They've had to find a new energy after 5 or 10 years to where you're still on that. This is newer and exciting that hopefully you can ride with that.
Right. I think that I am riding with it now, but in a sense of I want to build a brand. I want to build a community, and I really want to pivot and form my own style and kind of just carve my own little space into the industry. I don't want to be like him, or I don't want to be like her. I want to be like me. I want people to look at pictures online and say, oh, that's Poppy Lane. Dusty did that. And before, I was like, well, she's very successful, so let me just stalk her social media. But that was because I didn't have the confidence to put myself out there to be, I'm going to be me, no matter what.
Do you think whenever you first started kind of like posting, like, okay, I'm going to listen to what Randa's saying, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to post for the DIY bride. I'm going to post for my singular bride. I'm going to be the expert. I'm going to show all of these things that I've learned. Was there more security and confidence in knowing that, like, okay, well, I'm trying these new things, I've at least got support of like the other community that's going to tell me, you go girl, you've got this.
Absolutely. Not only that, but I knew that you guys would tell me if I was posting something that maybe didn't sit right or maybe didn't hit right. So I had somebody, and still have people, to come back to and ask, like, does this look okay? Do you think this is too bold? And I think a lot of times if you're trying to navigate that all on your own, solo, it can be very intimidating. And the internet is forever.
Forever.
People can screenshot, people can be angry. And if you start really thinking about that when you're trying to go on this journey solo, it's very overwhelming. In addition to starting a new business and everything. So having that community and that group, really, it was kind of like an extra little backbone.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Like a little courage. Like I'm not alone. I can do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can do this. I love that. Okay. So you are the winner of the $20,000 in 20 days challenge. Can you tell me more about that? You being the winner.
I mean, to be completely honest, I had no idea who was going to win because, like I said, everybody really came out of their shell and was posting so much. I felt like I was deserving of being a top contender because I feel like I had so many aha moments over the 20 days and so much expansion in myself as a person. Not only in financial gains, but the biblical abundance. I never expected that part of it, honestly. And I think that was probably one of the biggest things that really helped me along the way. Yeah. It really got me back into reading scripture and listening to Christian podcasts and stuff like that. And that really also helped with my confidence. So I just feel like I had so many like pivotal moments. I felt like it was almost like every other day there was a new aha. Like, now I know why that wasn't working for me because of this or because of this. And it didn't have anything to do with finances. I know that. I think that is why you maybe found me as the winner, because of the growth that I had in my wealth mindset.
Absolutely. So, Dusty, as a business owner who's literally come in as a freaking rock star inside of Digital Profit Queens, and I don't want this about leading someone to me or to Digital Profit Queens, okay? But what advice do you have for someone who is struggling in their online business with their social strategy, that may be looking at hiring a coach, a mentor, getting into a group, or saying, you know what, I've been trying to do this alone on my own organic content strategy, and I'm either, it's not sticking, or it's not clicking, or I'm not showing up at all. How would you kind of give them some love and comfort, almost like if you were talking to a past version of yourself before you came in?
If I was going to give any suggestions to anybody, I would say that if you are holding yourself back from joining a group or investing in a mentor, if it's because of financial reasons, you need to shift your mindset of it being an expense into it being an investment, because you are investing in yourself, which is only going to invest back and put more money back into your business. And you know, I said before, I've only been in business for a year or a little under a year, and I'm not flourishing by any means. I do okay, but to spend money on myself kind of felt crazy. Okay. And I think that was kind of one of my limiting beliefs in hiring somebody. But with that being said, there are ways to do it. I stopped ordering Uber Eats, and I'm actually saving more money anyways. Even though I'm in Digital Profit Queens, I'm still saving money because I'm not ordering Uber Eats anymore. So if it's for financial reasons, I think there are things you can probably tweak. I think you're just using that as a crutch, maybe. That might come off a little strong.
No, I don't think that's too strong. And I think that's honestly, if you don't mind me jumping in here, yeah. I had honestly, I've maybe gone on this in one of our lessons with y'all. And again, I don't mind sharing so much, even things that I share in our paid community, you know, out for free. But I do feel like business owners, even if you're struggling with people telling you that they can't afford your services, know that the financial excuse, it's the easiest excuse for people to say.
Right.
And it's also an excuse that someone's not going to challenge you on it. So that's why it's such easy of an excuse.
Yes, absolutely. And then if you are holding yourself back from doing it because of self-doubt or self-belief, I think that you need to find a group or a community that's good for you, that makes you feel comfortable, because then you're going to be in a setting where you have the group behind you that helps you with the confidence. Obviously, you still have to do the work on yourself, but you're going to have a little bit of a confidence boost because you're within a community that makes you feel good.
Absolutely. And you know, the way that I look at it too is when you're an online business owner, organic content is a way for you to grow exponentially. So if that is an area to kind of like experience in a little bit, like you were saying, it's an investment versus an expense, but it's an investment that can pay off tenfold.
Absolutely. But I also do think, don't jump into something just because you hear or you see, well, so-and-so made X amount of money in 20 days. The timing has to be right for you. You have to be ready.
Yes. And
you're not going to do well or start doing better online just by joining a community. You have to put in the work.
Yes.
So it takes grit, it takes work, it takes a belief system, just like owning your business does.
Yes.
So it's just an extension of what you're already doing, but you have to put forth the time to actually benefit.
Absolutely. And I think you worded that beautifully. It also takes me back to even like Power Fit. It's like you don't get the results by hitting paid, like I joined as a membership, or same with Digital Profit Queens. You don't automatically get those results. You get the resources of this transformation that's going to happen. So anyone who's listening that's like, you know what, maybe I would want to do something like that with, and again, I'm not trying to be salesy because I don't believe I have to be salesy. The people who are for me are going to come to me at the right time and are going to be ready.
Right.
And I'm going to do a really good job for them. And so even if it's you listening in going, you know what, I'm ready to maybe dabble in some free communities, or maybe ready to research this a little bit more, I would rather you do that. And just like reiterating what Dusty's saying, don't come in until you're ready. And that's a lot of what you're going to learn on the inside of Digital Profit Queens. Is I love to speak to the client, PowerFit, Digital Profit Queens, me teaching you with your brides. We want to speak to the client who is ready. I don't want to try to sell to somebody who's not ready.
That's true, because then if you come in and you're not ready, and you come in and you think, I'm all of a sudden going to be posting and I'm going to be the next Randa, but you're not ready to put in the work, then it's just going to spin you right into a victim mentality, and you're going to think that it doesn't work, social media doesn't work, nothing works, your business sucks. It's actually going to hurt you.
And it's not good for my business either.
No, it's not good for you.
I don't want your money. You come in and be quiet and don't do anything.
Right.
PowerFit or Digital Profit Queens, and then say, Randa's programs don't work because you weren't ready to work. Like, it does me no good either.
Yeah. You have to have the desire to want to participate, to want to grow, and to actually show up. And if you're not ready, then it's not your time. Mm-hmm. That and timing is crucial. And like I said, I have been watching you creeping on your page for a year.
I love it.
Before you kind of just gave me a little nudge, and I was like, how did she knows? It
was bold on me to do that too.
I know, and I was like, oh my gosh, she probably has some kind of thing on her Instagram, and she sees me look 50 times.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. Like, oh, I need to comment her because she's been stalking me.
She's been watching me. She's ready. No, but I needed that little nudge because I was ready. And you know what? Honestly, I feel like I did message you a couple times, like, how much is it? How much is it? How much? That's going back to the financial, because I didn't think that I was worth it, because why am I going to pay X amount of dollars a month if I'm not even going to do it? Or what if I don't learn anything? Or nobody's going to take me seriously anyways. So it all circles back to that belief system.
Absolutely. And I know there's probably some, maybe even like working moms who hear that, and they're like, instead of spending this money on me or bettering my business or community within my business, that can almost feel selfish, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I can spend that on my children. I can spend that, giving back to my community or something else. But I also want you to recognize that behavior and that limiting belief within yourself too. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not worth investing, whether that's investment isn't just money, it could be time, whatever it is, then how are you going to position yourself in a way that people want to invest with you?
Yes. Well, not only position yourself in that way, but how are you going to be able to take care and nurture the clients that you're bringing into your world if you don't even have that belief in yourself? Obviously, I have a product business. I'm producing a product, but there are so many ways that you can profit from social media. But a lot of them have to do with mindset, belief system. You have PowerFit coaches in your group that are teaching people about macro counting and stuff like that. So it's not always a physical product. And I think that was probably another one of my reservations was, well, I have flowers. Like, why do I need to adjust my mindset to sell a flower? But it all kind of ties in together. So it also goes back to the mindset. If you're ready, there's so many opportunities on social media, which also I learned during this time. It opened my eyes to more streams of income that I can use, not just selling a rose. Oh yeah, we're doing a whole audit after this on her business and her personal business. So y'all, she's one to watch because big things are coming that we haven't scratched the surface. I don't know if they do this in Bryan, Texas, but in San Antonio on the street corners, like, everybody's selling roses. So you really don't need a good social platform to sell a flower. So it's definitely way more than selling a product. And I got this from you, and I'm going to tell y'all, it's on my little notepad.
I love it.
The social selling business is going to be a multi-7-figure business by 2029. So I know you're seeing people online on your feed all the time. That's the algorithm. And you think it's saturated. No, it's definitely not saturated. We're still groundbreaking right now.
That's just the spot that you're in.
That is in your lane. There are so many other lanes, and it is not saturated, oversaturated whatsoever. You just need to start.
Yes.
You just need to post the content.
Yes.
But don't just post any content. You need to learn how to position your content to speak to the person you're trying to reach.
How much do you love being a business owner now? And do you love opening up Instagram versus 45 days ago before you came into Digital Profit Queens?
Well, a lot more, because number one, I unfollowed everybody that I was comparing myself to, which made it a miserable place for me, because comparison is the thief of joy. Now I open up Instagram and I see all of these boss babes making moves digitally, and I'm like, okay, like, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. And it really expands, like I said, expands my vision for the future of my business. Like, I'm not just here to sell flowers. I want to build a community. I want to build a brand. I want a whole...
There's so much coming.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. We may have already hit on this, but can you share some of your honest fears and limiting beliefs that you overcame in the guidance of coming into Digital Profit Queens?
Definitely the worthiness of being in the industry. Not only in the flower business, just the wedding industry as a whole. If you look online, which I just touched base on, that I was really comparing myself to so many other people in the area, it almost makes you feel like it's oversaturated and you're not good enough. So that was probably my biggest hurdle that I had to get over. And it's a big one.
Oh, that's a big one. It's internal. I also want to know, where were you on, do I have enough followers? Will I ever have enough followers? Do I need to go viral? Are more followers going to make me more money? Where was that mindset before to now?
I feel like that part I kind of understood already. Obviously, I said in the beginning I was posting about DIY because it did get a lot of engagement. I knew that engagement meant that your content would be pushed out more. So I don't think I was necessarily concerned about virality because I had already been researching, going back to me being a little research girl.
Okay, love it.
So I had been watching your stuff, but I had been listening to different podcasts and watching things on TikTok. So I don't think that number actually ever held me back.
Okay.
But I will say though, my engagement is proof that what you say is true, because with 800 followers, like, I think I'm reaching 20,000 now.
Amazing.
A month on my engagement.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was not that before. I think before my engagement said maybe 2,000, and it would always be like going down in percent. Now the percentages are going up, and it's up there close to 20,000 now. Still I just hit 1,000 followers.
Amazing, congrats. Snaps are dusty. Okay, go ahead, since we're getting ready to wrap this up. We've given y'all so much. We love to talk, the two of us.
I can definitely talk.
Because I don't ever want to pitch and make like a client think that I want to showcase their story for my own self-promotion. But Dusty came in and was like, when all this stuff was happening with $20,000 in 20 days, she would be messaging me like, I can't sleep. This is crazy. All these things are happening. She's like, I'd love to come on the podcast. And once she said that, I was like, well, I would love that too, but I don't want to make self-promotion out of it.
Yeah, she's like, you don't have to. And I'm like, no, let me talk.
I love it.
I promise you, I was in a place of disbelief, and now... And this is one more thing. I know you said we were going to stop, but I can't. So many people are coming into my world, and they're like, I would love to pick your brain, or are you a part of Randa's group, or what's going on? I didn't realize that we had so many people mutual follows, and people are like, are you the Dusty that Randa's talking about? And I'm like, yes. So it's crazy how people have noticed a shift. So it's not just Dusty showing up online, posting an espresso martini with my friends. They're like, hey, what are you doing with your content?
Yep.
So
there's a strategy.
Yeah, they're noticing a shift in that, and that's really cool because I've been working so hard.
Yes. Okay, two last questions. So obviously the benefit of me wanting to keep people in Digital Profit Queens is the community and the continued classes. So you've been in there only since we've had 2 live classes since you've been in, but you obviously have access to the previous live classes. What do you think of that structure? Does that keep you wanting to stay for the future classes? Do you find value in those future classes? What does that look like?
I do. I go back and I watch the old classes. Actually, pretty much all the time, I kind of just play them in the background when I'm working because I'll pick up bits and pieces. And the live class, that format is good because I kind of take notes throughout, and I know you're going to do the live at the end. I'm like, if I get my turn, obviously, well, sometimes I do kind of dictate the whole because I can talk a lot, but I'm like, if I get my turn, I want to make sure I ask this.
Absolutely.
Because obviously, like, I've been following you for so long, I feel like we're BFFs.
Yes.
But it's a business relationship. This is your business, and I have to respect that. So, but I do listen and I watch and I take notes, and there are still things that I need to learn and I want to learn. And so I feel like the format of being able to go back and watch again, maybe you're not paying attention the first time fully, but then also being able to live Q&A monthly is very beneficial.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And I also probably could even do a better job of like saying this, that I don't want to end a class until all the Q&As are answered. And I know there are some different personalities where there might be like, I'm a little nervous to ask my first question or to be put out in front of everybody, but I think there's so much value in the live Q&A, not only mentor to student, but the other students listening in too.
Right. And anybody listening later.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now I would love to hear your elevator pitch a little bit. I know we're not salesy, but I want you to tell me who your dream client is.
Okay.
She might be listening.
Well, I will say that, let me just tell you how it shifted.
Okay, let's do that.
So my dream client used to just be a quote unquote bride. Well, there are tons of brides out in the world and they're not all for me. So my bride now my dream client for Poppy Lane is somebody that understands the luxury of having fresh floral at their wedding, because it is a luxury. No matter what your price point is,
Amen.
Being able to have fresh flowers and have a floral designer at your wedding is a luxury. So my dream client can actually touch on a lot of different price points, but I want her to understand the value in what I bring to the table.
Love that. And I would say from the outside, which we're getting ready to go into our audit, but I think that your bride loves bold color.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. That is true. We were talking earlier about like a style, and I was looking at other people's posts and trying to be like them, and I do have a signature style. I love pink. That's probably why we get along.
I love it.
I wore pink pants to Randa's house.
Yes,
Everybody
you did.
But I do, and I love brides that aren't afraid to have that boldness at their wedding. I'm going to give it to them. And if you go and look on my Instagram page at Hey Poppy Lane, you will see that every single wedding that I've done has bright colors. But I love it, and that is my style.
And I love that. And I also think that then wealth mindset and abundance also says there's not a scarcity or a limit. It's not like I have to go chase after every bride I want. So if a bride comes to you and is like, you know what, Dusty, I love your energy, but I actually want maybe some florals that you've never done. I think that you would be in such a good, healthy place that you're either like, you're going to trust me and I'm going to do this my first one and done, or I maybe have someone else as a friend in the industry that I think would do you a really good job and I'm going to refer you to her. Either one of those things.
100%. And I never realized the value of networking until I was in a container like Digital Profit Queens. I actually did my very first open house during the 20K and 20 Days Challenge, and I spoke with another florist. We both talked, and we have completely different styles. And I am in a healthy place that I would do that. If somebody came to me and they wanted something that, number one, was not my style or out of my comfort zone, I would refer them on to somebody else.
And that is, y'all, I cannot even explain as a business owner, probably you even, to be at such a good, healthy place of like, I don't have to get every sale. Mm-hmm. I don't have to have every follower, every client for me, but there's enough to go around, and to really be like believing that and living that out. I mean, that's all God.
Yes, and it goes back to bringing yourself out of the desperation mindset, the desperation of getting a sale.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dusty.
Thank you for having me. This is so
She
fun.
did so good. Now we're going to be doing an audit on her business. So that is exciting. And don't worry, I have a free audit strategy that you can dive into in the show notes, because now there is a free Digital Profit Queen community. There is no free trial of the actual paid one. So I'm always listening based on your feedback. So now we have like a free version that has all of our free resources in one simple spot. So
cool.
Yep, that's it. If you love this episode, we would love for you to share this to your story, tag us, leave us a review in the show notes. But really what I want every listener to take from this is, Dusty just started her business less than a year ago, came in 800 followers, and she's been absolutely electric. And I'm not saying you have to come into my world, but it is okay to be a very successful, very smart, very capable business owner that says, you know what? I either need a mentor or I need a community or I need like some little extra energy around what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.